Thanks Mouse Rebel for that news about how the phone companies want to basically cut off the poor or people in rural countries that happen to be poor anyway, because they're not profitable enough, even though they pay their phone bill just like everybody else. This is a growing trend in the States and elsewhere, but mostly in the States because we have unbridled capitalism, where if they even think statistically you are not profitable, they will cut you off completely. It has nothing to do with the fact whether or not you pay. This comes back to internet moderation. I know people don't want to see the connection because they're stupid and evil, but the idea is if someone can do something to you, they will do something to you. If there is nothing to stop them, if there is no incentive, negative or positive, to stop them, why wouldn't they do it? You know? With moderators, it's the case of there is nothing to stop them from banning you. The only thing you can do is hope that by sucking their little dicky that they won't ban you, because you circle jerk them every single day and they love it. That is not reliable. Positive reinforcement is not reliable in stopping someone from, shitting on you. And this idea that you can just go somewhere else is missing the point, because they can do it to you elsewhere. People can do it to you. So until you do something to make them stop doing it to you, it doesn't matter where you go. And if you're too stupid to understand that, you should put a gun to your head. So, we get that situation in other respects. And in this case, the phone companies want to take away phone services from rural areas, not because they've done anything wrong, not because they're not paying their bills. It's because they can do it, and no one's stopping them. That's the only reason why they're doing it. That's the way it works. If people think they can get away with something, they will do it. That's why you have to make it not worth it. That's why you have to make it an effort to be a criminal and an asshole. What part of that don't you understand? Why are you so proud of wickedness? So, and it's not just in this regard. In the post office, they're trying to do the same thing. They're reducing it down to 5 days a week. They're always trying to lower, mail services because, the internet is Wally replacing, physical mail. But physical mail will never go extinct. It's not obsolete. Some people prefer physical mail because it's safer. It's safer to get something paperback than on the internet, where the internet can fuck up. It can fuck up paying your bills. It can fuck up your account. It can fuck up your accessibility. Sometimes I might go to just sign into something and I can't because something goes awry. Either on my end with the connection errors, or on their end with some firewall bullshit, or on their end with some malfunction that they're working on, or something. There's always something wrong. So sometimes it's just better to get it physically, and while it's slower and not as cool because it's not as technological, it's easier to, when it comes to paying bills at least, to just write the shit down, mail it in, and there you go. So, what is your problem? Why are you so dedicated to exalting these rich people that don't care about you? They don't care if you're a productive, law-abiding citizen that pays all your bills and does the right thing and, tries to be a good person. They don't care. All they care about is power. And they see you as a barrier between them and more power. They see you as a speed bump. And they are more than willing to get rid of you. When are you going to understand that? You fucking stupid libertarians and you capitalist sympathizers, they will kill you. They don't care. They'll kill your children. They'll kill your puppies. And you're just so blinded by the love of the free market. You worship it. It's a religion. That's what we should have. If we have separation of church and state, we need to separate the market from the government. We need to separate the market from the entire country, because more than those anti-choice Christian right-wingers, they want me to have to get a sonogram before I can kill a baby. More than that, We have to worry about the religious dogma of the bourgeoisie that think it's okay to screw somebody over, that think it's okay to sacrifice lives and futures for the sake of a little profit margin. Don't fucking tell me about religious indoctrination, invading our schools and invading our personal lives. More than anything these people do against gay marriage or against abortion is nothing compared to what the free market does on a daily basis. So fuck off. And I'm sick of making excuses for them. You're not capable of reason. You're an irrational buffoon, and we should just ignore you completely and pass laws that are benevolent and not care what you think. You have no voice. You have no vote. You chose that. You chose to be docile and complacent with your masters. So we will be your master. We will be a better master. We will be a master that will preserve humanity and move it forward. You can continue to be a slave and a moron while we get shit done, but stand out of our way, because I wouldn't be afraid to kill your ass either. So, it's ridiculous. The only good thing to come out of this is a couple of my friends who are good people, they have good hearts, but they're not incredibly bright, can see just how much capitalism thinks so little of them, because they live in more rural areas. They're, rednecks, and they don't seem to think that capitalism is all that bad, because God forbid a Negro should get some food stamps, or, God forbid one of those pretentious Yankee kids should get a public education, So, but then they see this, and they see that it doesn't help anybody. I understand their plight, that liberalism is just nationalism. It's just nationalism for their minority of choice. It's just nationalism for their group of people. They want to twist the law and bend it to their little social will. That way nobody can offend each other. And, women are up here and men are down here. And, blacks over here and whites are down there and shit like that. I understand that. But it's still better than capitalism, just as a whole. It doesn't matter what you call it. And I was going to say conservatism, but it's terrible. It's just, there is no excuse for any of this. And the longer I see it, the more I am not worried at all of the liberal left. They annoy the shit out of me. They're wrong. They're completely wrong. They're morally ambiguous. They are disgusting people. But they still have no way of being as freakishly evil as just capitalism in and of itself. And the same goes with the religious right. I don't agree with the religious right. I don't agree with them on a lot of things. I know for a fact that the only reason that Christian conservatives are against birth control is because they know that the vast majority isn't. So they will never pass an anti-abortion law, because they usually connect that in with an contraception law. I lost my train of thought there for a minute. So they combine anti-contraception with anti-abortion, knowing that people are going to be like, well, I don't want to go without birth control, that's extreme. Well, no shit, it's extreme. So then they don't pass it. How convenient for the capitalists. The Christians are in bed with the bourgeoisie. The liberals are in bed with the bourgeoisie. They create this twofold straw man argument so that nothing gets done. But if I were to tell you there is a bill that would ban abortion but not birth control, and you could take as much birth control as you want, you could OD on fucking birth control, what would you say? You might still oppose me, but would you say that's a extreme position? Would you say that's a position that prevents you from making contraceptive choices at all? Would you say it was a position that is anti-science and doesn't take into consideration that a lot of women use birth control for medical reasons? Like, my girlfriend has a period 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Maybe she doesn't want to bleed out of her vagina all day, every day. So, she takes the birth control. Does it have anything to do? If anything, the birth control in her case is making her more likely to get pregnant than if she were to just bleed everywhere and all of her eggs fall out of her cunt, you know? So, the logistics that birth control is somehow in cahoots with the plan, the liberal agenda to have let everyone have unbridled sex, guilt-free, it's ridiculous. I don't believe that for 1 second. But what I do believe is that people have been conditioned to not want to have children. What I do believe is that people have been, their brains, their entire mindset has been reversed, and we've been conditioned to hate ourselves and our species because it is contradictory to capitalists getting their way. It is contradictory to their money schemes and their power. So, because if we have lots of people, that's less control for them, because there's no way they can control all that many people. There is no way they can control population growth that they cannot calculate. There is no way that a mob of people is going to deal with all that complacency and all that enforcement. So they keep people contained with birth control. So I am opposed to birth control in the sense that I know why they use it. But I am not opposed to it on a medical level. I'm not opposed to people actually using it individually. It is the principle of the matter that I know that they are just so scared to have a child. Ooh, what are you worried about? Are you worried about being a bad parent? Is that the worst thing that could ever happen? How many people have had bad parents and they've turned out just fine? You know what people don't want to hear? The vast majority of you are fucking useless. 99% of you could die tomorrow and nothing would change. So, you are worse than the serial killer or the rapist or anyone else in prison. You are eviler than they are, because you go to work every day, you work your dead-end job, and you contribute to this machine. You contribute to this matrix of wickedness and sin. And, more than the murderer and the rapist and shit, because they are going against the woodwork. They may not be doing the right thing, but they are up against the wrong. And in a way, that is right. They are the lesser evil. By not contributing to this blackened, heartless society, that in itself is good. So, you are worse than a serial killer or rapist or whatever. So don't give me no lecture about how, well, if we don't let women have abortions, then they'll abuse their kids. Well, then you punish them. Why the fuck would you let them abuse their kids? Do you like child abuse? You don't mind getting child services on their ass for teaching them that Mormon religion or whatever. Why don't you fucking regulate them beating the shit out of their kid because they didn't want it? It's stupid. All of their arguments are stupid, and it relies on emotion. You're not going to get that from me. I don't give a fuck about you. So, you're not going to get me to invoke these feelings of regret and sorrow and empathy. I don't give a shit about you. I know how you are. I know what you think. I know who made you that way. And it makes me sick to my stomach. So, I guess that's all I have to say. All I have to say is that, people are disgusting. 99% of people aren't worth a shit. And this idea that somehow we have to control our population rate, it's mania. It's maniacal. Because, it's a roll of the dice. I figure let the dice fall where they may, and we are selling ourselves short, not having as many people as possible. If we have, just a ton of people, let's say 300 billion, there is no way the bourgeoisie could control us all. And, at the same notion, more scientists, more physicists, more, doctors will be born, and they'll be able to build our society up. One good person is worth 10,000 bad people, because most bad people are not bad people in the sense of the criminals. And you know what? Most of the people in jail right now, as I said, are not really bad people. The bad people are you. The bad people are you contributing to the way things are now. And so that's the worst that we have to look forward to, is another you. And since you don't see yourself as bad, what the fuck do you care? So the good people will always override the bad. But when you commit to abortion, when you commit to, contraceptives, and you prevent new people from blossoming, that's why things stay the way they are. And it's the grave you dug for yourself. That's why China is, better than America. That's why Saudi Arabia controls all the oil. That is why all these other countries are, growing up and America's falling down. Because you hate yourself. You want to die. So don't give me no bullshit about how, I'm just anti-choice, I hate women, And, it's just, I'm speechless. Because I just cannot believe what comes out of people's mouths and they expect me to take it seriously. They regurgitate the same bumper sticker crap from 50 years ago and think it's so edgy and correct. They've been saying this bullshit for years. Why? Because it makes them money. That's why. Where do you think the bourgeoisie would be if you didn't have your abortion clinics and placebo birth control pills? They take them like water. And like I said, that's not the main point. It's just all of it is interconnected. There is just so many things wrong with this world. There is so many things wrong with people that I wouldn't even know where to begin. But all I can say is that that's wrong, and you know what? What you think is wrong really isn't all that bad. You are bad. You are bad by getting up every day, going to work, getting nothing out of it, mind you, and contributing to your vampire overlord sucking the blood out of you, and you'll die at like 60 or 70, and, you'll be in pain, you'll be in debt, you won't have anything to show for it. Whatever little family you have is distant from you because we don't believe in a tightly knit family society. We believe in, this rabid individualism, you get yours, I get mine mentality. And then you wonder why you're in the position you're in. The worst thing about the conservative Republicans that want to control women's bodies is they want to bring us back to a more feudal era where the entire family has a choice in the matter. That's not really ending abortion. That's merely putting it in a monarch's hands. That's more about, the social hierarchy of the family itself, where the grandmother has a say, the grandfather, the dad, the mother, the children she already has. Everyone gets a fucking say because it's all about the family heir and it's all about the crown. And, it made sense back then because, there was crowns and there was a few rich people where that affected. Nowadays, not so much. Nowadays, it's just kind of ridiculous that, your typical commoner family is acting like a monarchy. But, hey, why not? It's still less crazy than the way things are now. So, that's all I have to say.